in agony. Still, no buzzer has been given to me. And I have to say, thank you. Oh.
No, one line, two line, three. Till the end. Sorry.
That's all right. It's an amazing looking machine.
It is fantastic.
Amazing bit of machinery.
Pardon?
I might learn how to make use one of those one day.
No, yes. Why are you training?
This machine is amazing, I swear.
Pardon?
I'm fascinated with this machine. Blessings, my fellow sickle cell warriors. I hope you are well, looking after yourself. I've had the roughest week of my life this week. My first sickle cell crisis in 4 years since becoming a nutritionist and changing my lifestyle. So yeah, it's been a very traumatic situation. What happened, something that started off so simple and could have been rectified so simply, but because of a few negligent nurses in A&E and a ward called Chestnut Ward, it has really affected my health. So basically, last week Friday I was at uni, felt a tickly cold, wasn't feeling too well, but I thought I'd be alright. Went home, recuperated, you know, tried to rest over the weekend to get ready to go back to uni for the Monday, take my couple of penicillin V to help boost my immune system and fight off the cold, because I know anything to do with my chest, it can trigger a crisis. But by Sunday I was feeling a lot of pain, especially because we went fireworks and we was outside as well. I think being outside for too long, watching the fireworks, yeah, didn't help. But, you know, the things you do for your babies. So, I was then feeling really bad pain in my chest. And then my monthly menstrual cycle came in that Sunday as well. And I started to feel back pain on top of it. So it's like my period starting then affected sickling in my back as well. Obviously it's all blood, isn't it? So once something else starts going on with the blood, the sickling's going to happen there too. So by Sunday night, I was in agony, decided to go to A&E, and was in there from about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and continuously calling the nurse for some help because I was in so much pain. By the time I got to the hospital, I couldn't walk because of the pain in my lower back. And yeah, it was not nice. So I kept asking the nurses in the A&E to help me alleviate the pain by giving me oxygen, some fluid, and something for the pain relief. They left me for 4 hours before they gave me any pain relief. So for those 4 hours, I'm increasingly in pain, getting more panicky and stressed. Obviously my blood got thicker and thicker, and the sickle cells got more and more overpopulated in the body. So by the 6th hour, I was still asking for oxygen and fluid, and nobody would give me it. I got extremely frustrated and discharged myself because no one wasn't helping me. But then I think by maybe early hours of Monday morning, I was back in an ambulance, back to the hospital, in the worst pain ever. It now had escalated badly in my back, that I wasn't even feeling the chest infection no more. I was just feeling period pain in my back. So obviously that sickling blood has pushed that infected crisis down into my back, where I was getting period pains. So I've gone back to the hospital, and because I discharged myself beforehand because of no one not treating me with any fluid or oxygen, it's like when I was admitted in more pain, they decided to mistreat me even more. And they basically parked me up in a hallway by the toilet where I could smell what someone had done in the toilet while having an infection on the chest and going through a sickle cell crisis. More bacterial infection I'm breathing in. And it took me to literally start screaming out in pain for someone to come and assist me in that hallway. The nurse, ginger-haired woman with glasses, so extremely rude, shouted in my face, telling me, "We cannot do nothing for you. We can only do what's in your notes. I've got your notes right here," flashing one sheet of paper in my face and saying, "We will get to you when we get to you." And I said, "How dare you treat me like that? How is that my notes? I'm 38 years old. Don't you think I know my sickle cell anemia by now? Don't you think I know what I need to make myself feel better? And you're showing me one sheet of piece of paper. I'm 38. My file is probably the size of her flipping forehead. It's a thick, massive book. The operations I've had, the things that sickle cell has caused over the 38 years of my life." So from that, it looked like a Moroccan gentleman has pulled my bed out of the hallway, moved her out of the way, and taken me into a back room, which I think the hospital probably no longer used, and started to listen to me. And I grabbed his hand and I said, "Please, I need oxygen and fluid. Someone needs to help get my blood back to normal." And I think it wasn't until then that they actually started to process me and put me onto a ward where they could see that I needed treatment, where I could get treatment. Blessings to that guy with the curly hair. If I ever see him, 'cause I never forget a face. If I see him, I will thank him, because I nearly died last week because of the negligence of Lewisham Hospital. And then to make it worse, once they got me onto Chestnut Ward, by then I was in so much pain because I've gone so long without extra oxygen to my blood, so long with no fluid to help the viscosity of my blood, that I was in and out of consciousness. I was in extreme pain. That when they put me on Chestnut Ward, they decided to give me some blood top up. So I accepted that, fine. Still, even now, still haven't had no fluids to give my blood back any moisture. I still haven't had any fluids, but I'm having oxygen now. So I've had oxygen, an injection of morphine, and they were giving me a blood transfusion, adding blood to my blood to give me some normal blood cells to help fight off whatever I was fighting off. But during the process of this blood being delivered, my partner came into the room and woke me up and said, "Babe, the blood stopped flowing and it's gone brown." And looking back on it now, I think I drifted back into unconsciousness. By the time I woke back up, that blood, the nurse had come back. The nurse that put the blood in was missing for a bit, so he had to go and find someone to come and check what was going on. She came back. I remember her coming back, doing something, and then I fell back asleep. When I woke up, I had had all that brown blood put into my body, and from then I got 10 times worse. My infection was spread, obviously, because as I got up, when I came to and woke up, I literally vomited a bowl of brown sludge. It looked like liver. It was so solid. So that whole bag that went into me, I then vomited it back up, because it was obviously congealed blood that was given to me, because the nurse didn't come back to check to make sure it was continuously flowing, and I got all the fresh blood rather than it staying stagnant. So by the morning I had vomited that up. Once I vomited that up, I got the worst stomach pains. I had never felt a stomach pain like that in my life. They checked my obs and they were really panicky, because my blood count literally depleted totally to a 4. I think it was a 3 or a 4. My blood count was way too low. My oxygen level was way too low. I was like at death's door. And yeah, I ended up spending, which normally a crisis for me, if it was a serious crisis due to getting a chest infection or cold or whatever, normally like 4 days and I'm home. But this time I was in hospital for 7 days, a whole week, and they wanted to keep me longer. But I was adamant, I can't stay in the hospital. I'm feeling better now. I need to go home and look after myself in a holistic and non-chemical manner, because the tablets that they were giving me were making me feel awful as well, till I ended up refusing tablets and telling them, all I want is IV paracetamol and antibiotics. I don't want nothing else. Don't give me nothing else, because I'm not going to take it. And knowing that, I let them know I'm a nutritionist and I'm studying for a degree, a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Health. So I do know what I'm talking about. I know what I need and I know what I don't need. Please stop giving me things that are going to exacerbate what's going on with my liver and my stomach. So they sent me for an x-ray, and my liver had extended where it had fallen right down. It was huge. Basically, my liver, that dirty blood made my liver swell, and it was just gathering more sickling cells and blocking up and causing an extreme amount of pain. I then began to take on water, which thankfully, since being home these last few days, it's subsiding, and the water's coming off my leg. I'm weeing a hell of a lot. So, and I'm eating beetroot and pomegranates. To help the liver and cleanse back my blood, build back up my blood, my hemoglobin count as well. So this is what I'm literally going to be living off, and my sea moss jelly to build back my body. But what upset me the most is reading back my discharge notes, and you can see in the beginning it says 38-year-old female admitted with severe pains on a background of sickle cell disease. Pain is mainly in her chest, and it did not go away with analgesia, which was the morphine. So it's my medication at home. So I went to AE, and on examination I had a clear chest. Bloods showed a stable hemoglobin. This is one of my admission. The stable hemoglobin. This is the second admission, not the first, the second admission. Because after that I went to Chestnut Ward. Initially treated with IV fluid, and then topped up with HB transfusion. But the pain persisted and dropped saturation. They don't say nothing about the fact that the blood that was given to me was congealed blood. They literally skipped over their mistake. So now I'm going to seek legal advice about this, because you cannot pretend what happened didn't happen, because it did happen. And you nearly killed me and took me away from my partner and my children. And it's not nice to look into your family's face and see the worry on their face, you know, of what you're going through. And they can't do nothing to help you. So that has been my week. And this is why I say it is important, sickle cell warriors, to know your body. Understand what your body needs when it is ill. Make sure you contact someone like myself if you don't understand what is healthy from what is not healthy for your body, to help you regenerate. Because the doctor admitted to me on my discharge that most sickle cell warriors that go through this sort of thing die. They do not survive it. So I am thankful for the way I eat, the way I look after myself, and my sea moss jelly, because that's what kept my body strong. And praise be the creator that guides me and looking after me. I know for a fact that is why I am here today, because the negligence of some medical professionals is a shame. Because Marianne is one of my specialist doctors in the hematology specialist unit, and she came on the third or fourth day and gave me a new transfusion, which you saw in the first few clips, which she sat by my side until all that blood went through, and she made sure it went through fresh. So they removed, it was an exchange blood transfusion, where they took out a litre of my blood and gave me back a litre of blood. And blessings to nurses like Marianne, who know their job and save lives. Save lives. I'm thankful for the people of Laurel Ward that know how to look after people and to stay on top of their nursing game as well, because they nursed me back to health, literally nursed me back to health. That and my partner bringing me some sea moss jelly while I was in there, and I could mix it into my tea at the hospital. That's what got me going back to the toilet. That's what got me getting up and having a shower for myself, not needing help to go toilet and wash. So please, sickle cell warriors, if you experience any of these situations, 1, you have a right to complain. 2, get advice on how to look after yourself properly. It is important, because too many sickle cell warriors die out of negligence because of some medical professionals, and it's not right, and it's something that I'm going to university to try and change, so these things don't happen to us anymore. We have a safe haven where medical professionals listen to us, understand us, and when we have certain doubts and fears, explain it to us properly. So take care, my sickle cell warriors. I'll keep you posted on my health and my dentist trip as well. That video is still to come, because I've still got a few treatments and a tooth to replace. So take care, my sickle cell warriors, kings and queens. Peace out. Love you all from Most High Foods. The healing process with my turmeric sea moss now strengthen me and cleanse my body. Just what I need.